We are now starting a segment called Not Financial Advice. Matt, can you explain to the listeners what this segment's going to be about?
This is really a community resource, I would say, for the Decent Crypto podcast community. So we're going to have listeners write in. Feel free, please, to write to us on Twitter at Decent Crypto Pod, and just ask us your questions. Like we said, this is not financial advice. So we're going to give we're going to read a couple of letters from a couple of concerned listeners who are just looking for a push in the right direction, I would say.
Yeah, they're really looking for not financial advice about themselves, their friends, their family. People have been writing us and asking, like, can you help me with this situation I'm in? Can you help me with this position I've taken? Either whether that be a stance or an actual position in the market. And we tell them, look, we don't give financial advice, but we can help out as much as possible. And so we started this segment. It's going to be called Not Financial Advice because the important thing here is to remember this is not financial advice. So let's get into it, Matt. I got a couple people that have written in, and they're looking for our advice here, not financial advice. Okay, now I'm going to obscure the names just for people's sanity here. The first one from Frank. Frank writes in saying, guys, Decent Crypto Podcast, can you please help me out? My buddy will not stop buying NBA Top Shots. He got into NBA Top Shot relatively early, in early 2021, and made a decent chunk of money early on. He rode the wave up and has since given up all of those gains over the past year. Despite this full round trip, he will simply not stop buying. He keeps talking about how he's going to go in on certain rares. He loves some of the new packs that they're releasing. He cannot get over his rookie LaMelo Ball, and it's very clear to us that he will not stop buying NBA Top Shots. He also has this whole thesis about how NFTFi is going to allow him to collateralize his Top Shots and create the next bull run in NFTs. This is starting to become an issue in our friend group, as every time we go out and watch games in a social setting, he discusses how he wants to collect moments rather than just enjoy the moment with us. Can you please help us? How do we redeem our friend? Frank, this is a tough one. Matt, you want to take a stab at this? Seems like this guy's far gone.
Look, first off, none of this is financial advice.
Yeah, we want to start by saying this is not financial advice.
Your friend's got to sell his Top Shots.
Yeah, get this guy to sell, man.
Get him to take any profit. I mean, look, I'm a little bit new to this game, right? Because I never bought a Top Shot, but I am no stranger to having friends chase the dragon. I've had friends that just can't stop buying ENS domains. They're buying ENS domains not only related to their name or to like dictionary words, they're buying ENS domains for all of their friends' names, which to me seems like a little bit of a creepy move.
Matt, at me next time, bro.
We all know the rush of opening up a pack of rookie cards. But I would say not financial advice here, but get your friend to like create a multi-sig so that you can approve all of their trades.
Wow, does that even exist on the Flow blockchain? These are Top Shots here. I don't know if you can do that on Flow. I think there's only one signature, and it is owned by Dapper Labs. Yeah, look, man, here's what I'm going to say. As somebody who's had his fair share of addictions in the past, this is not going to be a one stop thing, like you're going to have to ease your friend out of this situation. So Frank, let me start out by saying you need to empathize with this man here and really understand that he is too far gone, right? Like if he's talking about these things at social events, you need to understand that there's only one thing on his mind at all times, and that's NBA Top Shot. So we need to we need to pull back the curtain a little bit, really understand where his mindset is at. I'm sure this guy's not dating. I'm sure he doesn't have too much else going on. So, start getting him to taper back the addiction just a little bit. So maybe every rookie pack he doesn't go in. Or instead of buying 2 for every single drop, he just buys 1. So I would say this is not going to be a cold turkey situation. We need to taper him back, and we need to pull him slowly back to reality and stop looking at these things as investments or, collateralizing your top shots for the next bull run or anything like that. I think, this man seems a little bit untethered to me. So let's just work on that first, and then we can look at getting him to make some sound financial decisions, sound social decisions. Maybe you can introduce him to different kinds of people down the line, but I don't think he's ready for any of that right now.
I mean, I'm all about harm reduction here, and I feel like that's what you're advocating for. And I wonder if we should borrow a tip from harm reduction experts here, which is to maybe try to swap some of the behavior for slightly safer behavior, right? So maybe instead of NBA top shots, your friend you could maybe start suggesting to your friend some free mints, right?
I was gonna say maybe he can start doing straight sports gambling. That sounds more fun. At least there you can sometimes make money.
I mean, it sounds like that's what this has devolved into. This is sports gambling, but way less based in fundamentals of sports, right?
Let's get serious for just 1 second here. I think it's important for people to realize, and for this man Frank and his friend to realize, that these are not, you're not even gambling here. The idea behind Top Shot was as collectibles, right? People buy collectibles because they like collectibles and they just want to have them. They don't buy collectibles thinking, oh, I might double my money tomorrow. Some people do that, but they're sophisticated traders, right? Those are not people who are going to just casually be buying rookie packs and being yo, I'm about to 5x my money on these, right? Trading cards, collectibles, these are things that mostly kids, younger people, or hobbyists buy, right? Not speculators. Some, in very certain cases, speculators, yes, but generally no. And certainly not investors, right? So if you're looking at this oh, I'm an investor, I'm investing in Top Shots, just I don't know, find a hobby or something, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next piece of non-financial
one.
Advice. Yeah.
Okay, this one is tough because it really hits home for me, and this is something that I've had to grapple with myself. Okay, so our friend Praful writes in, I've obscured his name, of course. He writes in saying, "Help me, please. I am all in on the locked jewel trade." So it doesn't sound great, bro. I am all in on the locked jewel trade. I listen to too many crypto, specifically AVAX influencers, whom shall not be named, and went all in on Jewel in November and December. Things were going great. Eventually, I saw that there was a market for locked Jewel. This was an OTC market that was open to the public. I thought this was pretty rare, and I jumped at the opportunity. I 5x'd my total amount of Jewel in just one trade, which I thought would pay out very nicely. Unfortunately, my Jewel is locked from 2023 until the middle of 2024, when it fully unlocks in July of 2024. I have 12 more months to vest, and the unlocking has just begun. In the meantime, Jewel has gone from a high of $22 to a current price below 10 cents. What do I do? I have no way of getting out, and most of my life savings are in this trade. Please help, Decent Crypto Podcast. I just want to start out by saying that none of this is financial advice, especially to our brother Praful here. Sounds like this is not a good spot to be in, especially if you put all your life savings in here. I'm not gonna give you any financial advice, my friend. But it sounds like you need to get a job, because that money is never coming back. Um, the number one lesson in crypto that I've learned is never lock your money up. Even the sharpest VCs and the brightest minds in all of crypto have learned that lesson. You don't want to lock your money up. If there's a way for you to have that liquidity at any point, you take it.
I'm glad you tried to like hide or like create pseudonymity by going with the name Profool, but like we all know who's writing this. It's Ansem.
It's
Listen,
Ansem.
Ansem, buddy. This is not financial advice, but you really only have one option right now. You gotta lock that jewel back up. Okay. The second it gets released, you gotta lock it, right? You're all in here. This thing went from $20 a token to less than 10 cents. Are you really gonna paper hands now?
So you're saying buy more locked jewel OTC with the unlocked jewel?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Look, that's what
this
we call.
Is
look,
incredible.
Tough times make strong traders, okay?
Look, just to be clear, this is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. But you should probably mortgage your house.
Exactly. You should sell everything and go in again, because if it's down 99%, it can only go down 1% more. Everybody knows this. It sounds like, it sounds like the easiest trade of all time. It's unlimited upside and only 1% downside. All joking aside, look, like this is, I would say, the position that 99% of people find themselves in right now. Maybe not the locked part, but the idea that you are truly down like 90 to 99%. And it's like, what do I do now? Do I take profit, or do I just ride this out? Because I don't really have a way out now. Right? Like, what would you do?
Do you cut your losses, or do you hodl?
I don't know. What would you do?
Well, specifically in the Jewel case, right? And this is not financial advice.
Jewel is actually down 99%. Yeah, of course, this is not financial advice.
I mean, what percent of Jewel do you think is like overall staked? It's got to be a huge amount that's like just starting to unlock now, and it's like a linear 1 year unlock, right?
I think like less than 50% is on the market. Like most of it's still going to be unlocked over the next year.
I mean, we literally saw this play out with Terra, right? Supply just doubles, and what happens to the price? And this is after the price had already tanked. Like it has very strong parallels to the Luna token. Who's not selling their locked jewel?
See, but I don't think it has parallels to Luna, because there's no like death spiral here, right? Like there's like supply unlocking, but that's the case with every single token, right? Like every single one of these like early stage VC tokens, like Serum, right? Like Serum, everything on Solana is like down forever because it's unlocking slowly, and like all these like early VCs that got in are like selling over time. Right, so I don't think it's like a Luna parallel at all, because Luna is like literally there's a specific reason that went to absolute zero.
The maximum supply is infinity for Luna.
I think the parallel is like one of these like Solana ecosystem coins, which a lot of people have also gone in.
Well, so in the Solana ecosystem coins, right, like they started going down because people were selling them as they unlocked. With this, it's a little bit different, right? Like this thing sold off from $20 to less than 10 cents before any of the unlocking happened, right?
Well, that happened because there was a specific like OTC market to allow for that to happen, right? Like if there was an OTC market for people to sell their locked Solana, like I think there's a good chance that could have happened to all those things beforehand too. Right, like there for Jewel specifically, there's like people created a secondary market to be able to like dump all of your locked Jewel, and that created a lot of the downward pressure from the $20 price.
So you're saying like you could buy it for a discount. You could buy 5 times the Jewel, but it's locked at a huge discount, or you could go buy it in the open market, and just nobody chose to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And there were like super interesting dynamics with Jewel itself, because like they had zero VCs. Like, we're getting super into this is a Jewel podcast, of course. That's why people tune in. But we're getting super into like the Jewel tokenomics now. But like, it was super interesting because they had insane liquidity incentives early on, and like zero like VC funding or anything like that. So all of their even their like treasury was kept in Jewel. Like, and it came from like fees that they made like on the decks, which they had like in the DeFi Kingdoms game. And so it was like all tied to the Jewel token. And so they gave away a ton of the token for free with these liquidity incentives early on. And so whoever was, liquidity mining Jewel early on made a ton of this Jewel, and then it ran up the price because a lot of these like crypto influencers were shilling it. And then it unlocked this market for locked Jewel, or like somebody created this secondary market for locked Jewel, and a lot of these whales were just sitting on tons and tons of this early on because like the APRs early on were like massive. And the way the token structure worked is that you get your like your earnings from LPing in like partially locked Jewel and partially in unlocked Jewel. And the earlier you did it, more of it came out in locked Jewel. And so that's why there was these like crazy whales with tons and tons of locked Jewel that would dump it on the market and cause the price to come down. And this is crazy dynamic. But I guess the point still stands. It's like, if you are down this bad, and like even if you are liquid right now, like, I don't know, what do you do at this point? Like, do you sell? Do you hold? Like, obviously if you have stables, like maybe you can buy, but I think it's a tough question.
Well, the bigger issue with Jewel was that like later there was that like exploit kind of thing that they found where it was like you could just kind of print Jewel, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about
situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have to like go super into it if we want to like go into it, but like,
all right. So what are you saying? You're saying sell?
I mean, my question is literally just, if you're down bad, if you're down 95%, what do you do right now? Not financial advice.
Every day you should be allocating your portfolio in the best way that you possibly can. If your portfolio is down 95% in Jewel and it's unlocking, and you don't want to hold that anymore, like, you should probably just buy a little bit of ETH or Bitcoin or whatever you feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the asset is the answer, right? Like, a lot of the stuff that went down 95%, like, blue chip DeFi, like, I would hold that, right? Or, you know what I mean? Like, every minute of your life is a chance to rebalance. And if you don't rebalance your portfolio, the market will do it for you, right?
This is the juice that I was looking for.
Yeah. No, well, this is not financial advice, but...
This is not financial advice. This is just juice.
Yeah. Look, you need to be thinking of yourself at every moment as a rational actor with no, like, no sunk costs here. Right? Like, It doesn't matter what you're down 95% on. That has no bearing on what you want to hold right now. Other than like maybe transaction costs, right?
Right.
That's my take.
So forget your all-time high. Forget how much that Jewel was once worth. Just think about what assets you want to own now. And if it's not Jewel now, buy something else. That's great advice.
Exactly.
Great advice. All right. Well, let's cap it there. I think we're going to have more people. We had a couple more people write in, but we wanted to save that. If you think of something, if you'd like to get your question answered on this podcast, write into us, tweet at us, whatever. All of our links are below. You can find us. We're going to be doing this once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. So we'll be back. This was not financial advice from the Decent Crypto Podcast.
None of this was financial advice, legal advice, investment advice, or any other kind of advice. If you're looking for advice, you are definitely in the wrong place. Until next time, stay decent.